I don't think there'll be another Ferrari that puts Ferrari in the limelight like this car did. They sold a lot of copies, even though something like 7,000 copies of Testarossas. And, you know, it was the top of the line car. We're not talking 308, 328 material here where it's entry-level Ferrari. This was their most expensive car at the time, and, you know, they outsold their lower line, which means a lot, which means people with money appreciated the lines, the looks, they wanted the prestige. You know, it's all about being in a Ferrari. The Testarossa is remarkably refined. I mean, if you get in the car, you know, it's like most supercars. You've got to wedge yourself in there. I'm a smaller framed guy, so I don't have any problems. But you get in the car, and if you don't want to drive aggressive, it's very easy to drive. The steering is light, even at slow speeds. It shifts great. It's got the classic Ferrari gate. When you want to romp on it, you step on it, and it's there. It responds, it goes. You want to fling it around the corner, you can fling it around the corner. You want to parallel park, you can parallel park. It's not that difficult. You don't have to open up the door and look backwards and hang your neck out. You know, it's all there. You know, it's a practical supercar. The car is wide. I mean, you know, that's probably, it's the biggest issue with the car is it's so wide, and you have to just grow to understand it and know where your corners are at. But you know, when you get behind the car and you look at the car, you love it because it's just got massive presence. It's just big. It's there, it makes a statement. The Testarossa was the poster car, that along with the Countach. You know, those two cars, it was the ultimate fighting contest. You know, which one was the supercar of the day, or the best supercar of the day. And I think of it a lot like the classic fights of Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali. You know, the Countach was more like the Joe Frazier, big brute, just muscular, just all business, and not very good looking as far as I'm concerned. Definitely flashy and awesome looking, but float like a butterfly, sting like a bee is the Testarossa. Just got in the ring, you know, gets down to business, gets it done, just a lot of finesse, just a wonderful car. The Countach reminded me of a RoboCop or a Transformer type of character, where the Ferrari was definitely, you know, a superhero in tights that could fly through the air, you know, almost like a Superman kind of thing. Good looking and strong, and yet classy. It got to a point where the prices became so cheap it was ridiculous. To pick up you know, a supercar for under $50,000 with 10,000 miles on it, you know, it was a no-brainer. These cars are eventually gonna go through the roof because they're a reliable Ferrari. There's not a lot of electronics. Yes, the engine needs to be removed for service, but you know, a few bolts and a few hoses, a few wires, and it drops out the bottom. The prices on parts are, you know, always going to be Ferrari, but it's a car that you can work on and fix and not have to worry about too many electronics. And it should be one of those cars in the future that's on the road for a long, long time. Not like I think a lot of modern cars are, you know, will have problems down the road because of electronics. And who's going to be able to repair and restore that kind of stuff? And this car will be a usable, just like the 60s and 70s Ferraris, a usable road car. I actually had an opportunity to acquire the Countach. I believe it was a 78. You know, we looked at the car. It was a red car with a white interior. It didn't have, at that time, too many tack-ons, so it didn't look too robot-like. You know, we sat in it, and it was very impressive. I came close to buying that car, but just couldn't strike a deal. Just for the mere fact of, you know, owning another one of the premier supercars of that period. In a way, I'm kind of glad I didn't, because it may have prohibited me from buying this car, and I think overall I'm happier with this than that particular.